Hey everyone, it's Damien again, alias Puna Forager, and I'm just enjoying the land right now after a busy morning, and just walking around and looking at fruit trees and trying to be observant. This is an egg fruit. I've never had fruit on it though. It's from seed. It's from a really good seed too, from a grafted tree. I keep cutting it. Thankfully, I had topped all my trees recently. You saw that mango. Without even knowing that we were expecting high winds, I cut it, and then the next day the winds came. So it was perfect timing. It had gotten a little crazy and dense, and it didn't fruit this year, and everyone else is getting, I don't know who everyone is, but people are getting odoratas right now, mangoes. And mine hasn't produced fruit in years now. So it's been about 3 seasons, 2 or 3 now that it skipped the fruiting. And I noticed something over here with my odorata hybrid is that it's producing some flowers right now. I see some over here, and I see a lot over here actually. Yeah, look at that. So my odorata hybrid is flowering now. Will it stay? Will the fruits stay? Not sure. But it's got a lot more, it's got flowers all over it actually, starting. So that would be nice. My lychees are beginning the bloom cycle now, so I'm excited because I did all the work this year to prepare them for this. And I did skip pruning this year as an experiment. I will prune next year, but I'm thinking I'm going to go into a more of an every other year pruning cycle with these lychee. And I'll snip a little if there's a weird branch or something. I see some weird branches over there. But here's another look at that mango and how I butchered it. I just butchered it. And they can take it. Just like a jackfruit can take it, you know, they like it. They like management. So that's something exciting as my Borneo Reds finally, I feel like, taking off. This is my rainbow durian that's doing really well. It's grown so much. I mean, it's almost ready to take the cage off. If I take the cage off, it's going to really start taking off. And this is a D145 looking good. What's been happening over here is I've been killing more bamboo. So I'm getting rid of this whole stand of bamboo's got to go. Looks like some of it's growing here. Because that's opening light on this Champadak. This is the Frankie's Round. And the Frankie's Round has been here for quite some time because I did a restart on it once. And then since then it's been developing really beautifully, just slowly. And last year it made its first one fruit. It was like 1.5. It was like 1 fruit, and then the other was like a deformed fruit, but still had 4 or 5 pieces inside. So this year, or since that last cycle, I've been doing lots of good work here as far as loving the tree. And I'll show you that it's flowering now, and it looks promising. Like I'm gonna get, looks like I could get 7 or 8. And then next year will be the 3rd year, and I think next year is going to be the year this tree is like probably dripping with fruits. So let's take a look at this. This is the Frankie's Round. You can see there's a little fruit. And there's some fruits on this side too that I saw. I saw some fruits dangling up here. Oh yeah, here's some right here. And I see some on this back side too. I see a bunch. I see like 3 or 4 up here inside the tree. You have to really kind of focus when they're small. But yeah, I can see it like a new flower right there. That's another going to be another fruit. I see another one in between these leaves somewhere. Yep, I see it, the stem. So there's a lot in there. Not a lot, but there's like 8 that I've seen so far. And it might continue to flower for like a month. So over the next month, I could end up with a couple more. It's just the frequency of female flowers is low compared to the frequency of males that it's creating. That's normal. In the beginning, it seems like it's more male flowers, and then as the tree matures, you start to get more female flowers. And see, I see a bunch of fruits up here now. Where is it? Where's that fruit? Oh yeah, there it is. There's one, and then there's a little one next to it. Because they tend to grow in pairs, it seems like, too. At least this tree does. Oh, I see another one up there. It's another pair up there in the tree. So that's good. That makes me happy because I've been sort of anxious about this tree just because I've been working on it for like 8 years or something. I'm not kidding. This is like an 8-year project so far. And it's been all work and not much reward, except for the beauty of it, which is rewarding. And I love the formation that it has. I've kind of established it to have 4 leaders going straight, and then in theory, over time, all 4 of those leaders should have lots of fruits on them. The fruits tend to grow off the trunk, so once those get thicker, I feel like they're going to start holding a lot more fruit. This is the Monthong, which has been so stagnant, like beyond stagnant for years, just so stagnant. And then suddenly, bam, exploding. So I don't know if it was fighting through a crack or I have no idea. Maybe this wall of bamboo was just too much. I had a bamboo here. And so these were crucial bamboos that had to go. This one is going to allow this Champadak, which is I don't remember. I think it's the SK1. I'm pretty sure it's the SK1. And then it's going to allow this tree Gadang, which is an old tree that I've had a hard time growing for some reason. I have 2, and one's been great, and this one's been like the stinker. And I just was pruning it yesterday, like snipping some of the excess branches off. So I like the shape right now. If I just let it rip right there, and I just removed this bamboo behind it, so it's going to get a lot more light throughout the whole day, even light. So that's what I've been doing, is just opening up the bamboos, and because I'm ready for some of these trees like shelter, like Champadacs, they like to be sheltered when they're young. Like this, here's the Kuma Aina Champadak, and it's kind of sheltered in there, and it just thrives and looks so happy in there. It's been slow, but it's coming along beautifully. This is the new jackfruit called Pepe's Video, which is a fun name because there's a guy named Pepe on YouTube. He's a Florida guy, and he goes to Laura Farms, and the guy there, forget his name right now. Is it Julian? I forget. But he's there and he's got a jackfruit hanging on a rope by the stem, and he says, "Hey, Pepe, you got to try this jackfruit, man. This is one of my clients. This is in their front yard, man. Check this out." And he cuts it open, and wow, it looks really beautiful inside. And it's definitely got the color, the vibrant, beautiful color inside. And they were like, "Yeah, it's a good jackfruit. Wow, it's so good," on the video. So I guess he started grafting it and he offered it, which I don't really recommend buying these trees anymore from Florida to anybody, because it depends on what it is. If it's a jackfruit, okay, but I don't recommend you get an avocado. I don't recommend you get a mango. I don't recommend you get, what else? There's a few other trees that they sell I wouldn't recommend, just because, like Annona species, would not recommend it. Because they'll send you a tree grafted onto a Annona, like a cherimoya or something, that doesn't even adapt here. Annona trees, in other words, have to be grafted onto pond apple, really. Or maybe something else, but I think that pond apple's considered the best rootstock for Puna as far as grafting there. And then what else? I've been mulching trees with bamboo, and there's that meringue that I've been loving up since last year. This is around the time of year the meringues are ready to flower, and I've been working on this, and I do see some flowers on this. Wow, right there. Kind of zero in on that. You can barely see it there on top of the leaves. There's a bulb, you can see it. It's going to become a Artocarpus flower. So what I was shooting for is hoping that I get a lot more, like a fruit on the end of almost every branch, and also bigger fruit. This tree produced smaller fruits the last 2 years, and the other tree had much bigger fruit. But I feel like that tree gets more attention that had been, and this year, they're both getting attention the entire year. So I'm excited to see how that attention plays out as far as quality and fruit set and size of maybe fruit. I don't know if that'll affect the size. I think that's more based on the pollination, but anyway, so that's a meringue I'm very excited about. And I didn't see these flowers until right now, so I'm excited because that's what I've been waiting for. So over the next few weeks, I should start seeing a lot more flowering. And here's another bamboo stand that I've just obliterated. I might take this all the way down to the ground with my chainsaw. See how it's sticking out about a foot? I try to get around it with the weed whacker, thinking, oh, I'll mow around it and I'll help it to maintain it. But yeah, I don't want this really growing anymore. So I'm gonna have to get a tarp to cover it, or realizing tarps kill bamboo. Depends on which bamboo it is, but a lot of these bamboos I used around the trees were thin bamboos that you could use for mulch. And so this one, I knocked a bunch out over here to just open everything up. This is a Chempedak project I've been working on. This is nuts. Like I'm a scientist over here. And I'm not in a rush to have, all my Chempedak fruiting. It's okay if I have one giving me fruit while I manage the others and do weird things with maybe one or two of them. Like this one. This one's just a seedling. So for me, it's like the seedlings are where I like to have the most fun, because I didn't really spend the money on it. And I just grew them out from seed, and I can do some wacky really wacky stuff with these. This one just grows too wild. Like this, look at this. This looped around. I gotta cut that off. And now it's starting its leader, and I just intend to let this leader go perfectly straight and allow that leader to take off and then just manage any craziness, but allow it to mostly just grow from here on out. Like this one I just butchered. Seriously. I was all up on this tree with my chainsaw. I can get all up in there. Like, see, I designed it so it's like stairs in there. And this one still needs a snip, this long one. Sometimes I don't know. Spirit says, that's enough. That's enough. You need to take a break. And then I'll come back in 3 weeks and get those last 2 or 3 cuts in. This is another chump that I've been kind of getting antsy about because it's like year 7. And I haven't done a lot of pruning. I did initially do a big pruning on it, and then that kind of set the tone for it. And then since then, I've been seeing what happens if I just let it rip. So I've been just feeding it and spraying it. And I think it does need to get some of these little branches and stuff. What's cool about little branches is they make flowers, and I think sometimes it's good to let it go wild and let it flower, and then when the flowering is over, and then you cut it. But to cut it before the flowers or during the flowers, you're going to have less fruit. So I feel like that's part of the timing of it is you want as many flowers to develop as you can. So before you do any pruning, I'm just going to let it, since this is the time that it should be making flowers. Like, see, here's one. Me and my son actually pollinated that one ourselves. So our plan is to plant the seeds from that. I think we got a Borneo red and we crossed it. Honestly, I can't remember, but pretty sure it is. I don't see much this year though, even though this would be the first fruit that I've ever seen, or 2. That could end up being 2 fruits there. This will be the first year it's ever done anything. And I don't expect it to crank out a bunch of female flowers anytime this year. So I think this year I'm going to have to live with maybe getting 2 or 3 fruit and being happy to see a lot more male flowers. Like, see, there's a male flower that's about to fall off and get moldy. And there's another one, a small piece of one or whatever, that one. So I'm seeing them everywhere. Actually, if I look closely, I see them, but I just don't see the females this year. And this is the Sarawak. So I'm I'm excited about it because I've been to Sarawak, and my son was created in Sarawak. So that's important to me, sentimental to me that this tree creates something. These are ulus. Sadly, this ulu has been mislabeled, and I bought it as a Ulu 50 from Planted Hawaii, and now I'm discovering that this is mislabeled. My neighbor, she bought the Ulu 50 from the same Planet Hawaii sale, which was pre-COVID, and hers has been identified as Ma'afala since then. So I ran this picture of the tree by ChatGPT, and they told me it's a Ma'afala. This cob durian is insanely nice. And I just cut all the bamboos out that would interfere with the early morning light now. So this is pretty transformative. I cut that stand got cut out. This stand got cut out. That stand got cut out. This stand is being smothered. So for the next several years, these bamboos are going to be dying. And the sunlight's coming up from right here. I've been back there in that forest girdling all these albizia trees. So over the next couple of months, they should be dying. It's slow when they're big and you girdle them with no poison. It takes some time for them to start diminishing. And then they do. And then suddenly one day, most of the leaves are gone. But yeah, I had to cut some of these out right here. But they're babies pretty much, these albizia. And all the rest of the light would just come up and hit my emder now. And hit my cob in the morning and all day. I'll get all day sun on those two trees now. These trees just got wind whipped by the wind, so I see some dead stuff in there, dead branches. Small stuff. What else? That's a cha-cha, this isn't a cha-cha, this is a Luke's Garcinia. I did see some flowering on this at some time. I think last year, I feel like a few months ago, I saw some flowering down inside here. It didn't turn out to be anything, but it was a promising sign. This one too, last year I found 5, just in passing without even realizing it had fruited. I found 5 achachas by just walking by and seeing the bright orange color. And they were delicious, so since then, I've been on top of this tree, feeding it and pampering it, and I like the shape of this tree. I cut the top off, and then it stayed real short, and I reset a top leader there. After 6 months, I found this branch and curled it up to become the top of the tree. It's being tied up there with a rope. I probably don't need the rope anymore. It's probably hardened and stuff, but anyway, I like it. It's if that was fruiting right now and it was dripping with fruit, I'd be stoked. Just the shape of it just makes it so easy to pick. There's that Kuma Aina Champadak from this angle. Here's another. This is a row of durian that this slope here has been very challenging. I used the taro to block a lot of weeds, but then I wanted to shift it to comfrey, which didn't seem to be able to handle the weeds in here because it's guinea grass. And then the last couple of years I've been just tarping this stuff, and now I've got the citrus in here trying to crowd it all out. I had pumelos here, Tahitian green, which all just failed. It took a couple years to realize they were failing. And then, so since then I shifted into Valencia oranges on the berms. Dwarf. Over here you can see some behind this durian. This is the temple durian. And then recently the temple durian family from Asante Gardens was here, and Quinn is their son, and he's 20 now, and I've known him since he was 8 or something. And he thinks that this, because their trees aren't identified, I thought I took the scion from the orange. And I was 85% sure I had the orange temple. I'm not the orange, the golden temple. And he came here and he looked at it and he thinks, He's not even 100% sure, but he thinks it might be the orange. Well, I knew it might be the orange too. But he can't tell me for sure until he brings both leaves over and we can look at it. So maybe he'll do that. I asked his mom if he had a car, but I got no response. So, both of the durians are great. The only difference I know is that the orange seems to be a little more elusive. doesn't seem to fruit as frequently as the golden. I'll be happy with either one. Honestly, I don't care. But I think I prefer the gold. But if it's the orange, I'll be happy too. There's some of the oranges. Here's some more of this orange action here. You can see I kind of took a nod from Indonesia and started planting citrus and crops around my durians and stuff, just for fun to see how. I know some of them I'll have to eliminate probably. Like this small one here seems not to work. But I mean, you can see like I got a lot of oranges off. Is this my second year? I think this is my first or second year with the fruit. I think it's my second. There's a big difference, man. Like between last year's crop and this year's crop, it's like night and day how many more fruits I have. You can see that branch is like about to snap off. It has so much fruit on it. And then you can see, just like the other side of this berm, I've had a tough time on this end of the berm where it's a lot of densely spread guinea grass seeds embedded in this soil. And it's, as soon as the soil is bare and exposed, guinea grass is the first thing that starts to come up. It's like, gah! So I killed this bamboo, which was the name slips me at the moment. Alphonse Carr, bamboo Alphonse Carr, which I just covered with a tarp for about a year and a half after I chainsawed it all down. And then it seems like, I don't know, I just uncovered it like a week ago. And I think it should be dead. I'd be surprised if I'd be surprised and not surprised if it bounced back, honestly.